So pretty early on, after Thomas Matthew Crooks attempted to take Donald Trump's life, we heard a lot of information about law enforcement and Secret Service being aware that Thomas Matthew Crooks was acting shady, acting suspicious at the rally that day. We heard that snipers spotted him, that local law enforcement spotted him. We even heard that there were communications and text messages and photos sent between the various forms of security and law enforcement, but still nothing was done. So this is some information that we kind of already knew of, something that we heard about, but now the text messages have leaked. And I don't know, folks, it's something about just actually seeing and reading these messages. It's really impactful. It just really hits you. Like, this story is crazy, right? I think we can all agree what happened at the Trump rally is crazy. The amount of covering up that's going on afterwards, the lack of information, it's just really weird. But seeing these photos and text messages sent between people who could have stopped this from happening, it just really hits you. It really hits you. And it really has an impact. It really lets you know, like, okay, this is not a game. This is real. And these people really could have stopped this. And they did nothing. And it just looks more to me than incompetence. But let's go ahead and let's read some of these messages, folks. As you can see, 2 photos were sent. And then the person says, kid leaning around building we are in. AGR, I believe it is. I did see him with a rangefinder looking towards stage. FYI. If you want to notify Secret Service snipers to look out, I lost sight of him. Also, a bike with a backpack sitting next to it in rear of building that was not seen earlier. Call it into command and have a uniform check it out. And then here are some more messages. These are from earlier in the day. Someone followed our lead and snuck in and parked by our cars, just so you know. I'm just letting you know because you see me go out with my rifle and put it in my car, so he knows you guys are up there. He's sitting to the direct right on a picnic table about 50 yards from the exit. And then someone replies with a thumbs up. Roger that. As you can see, these are more photos that were sent. Some more messages that were sent. Blank. If you want to send this to whoever at command, if you have cell number, sent. They're asking for a direction of travel. Not sure. He was up against the building. If I had to guess, towards the back. Away from the event. Now, once again, as I was saying earlier, some of this stuff is stuff we already heard. But now this is the evidence. Now we're seeing it with our own 2 eyes. We're looking at the actual text messages. There's no denying that this was real. There's no denying that these messages and photos and the exchange of information doesn't exist. No. It's right here, clear as day. Warnings as clear as day. I mean, the guy literally says, hey, looks like this guy kind of followed my lead and saw me going to my truck with the rifle. He knows exactly where we're at. He knows exactly where we're at. He's kind of checking out our positions. He's out here looking at the stage with the rangefinder. And what do they get in return? It's like you're literally telling these people, hey, shady dude looks like he's about to do something. He's obviously spotting out our positions and he's spotting out Donald Trump. Now he's here with the backpack and all this stuff. And your reply is, thumbs up, roger that, okay. Thumbs up. Think about that. Thumbs up. And that's it. Now, if they sent a thumbs up and then next thing you know, they sniped Thomas from, half a mile away, that would have been badass. But that's not what happened. They sent a thumbs up and they did absolutely nothing until it looks like Thomas got... Listen, I don't believe any of the information that's coming out, but it looks like there's a possibility that Thomas got off 8 shots. And if that's the case, that's how long they waited. They didn't give a thumbs up and go right down there and take out Thomas. They didn't give a thumbs up and go try to arrest Thomas. No, they gave a thumbs up and did diddly squat until people in the crowd were dead. And Trump almost got taken out. So when I see that thumbs up, you know, the way I interpret it, and I know that's not necessarily what it means, but the way I interpret it is like, okay, thumbs up, good. Everything's going according to plan. Thomas is right in place. Our Patsy is right in place. That's the way I see it. Because it's like, oh, hey, there's a threat right here. He looks like he's about to do something crazy. Go ahead and warn the Secret Service snipers. Go ahead and let command know. And you're like, roger that, and you don't do anything. Roger that, great. I'm glad he's here. You know, he's running a little bit late. We need to go ahead and, you know, have this go down. We need him to go ahead and take out Trump. That's the way it looks to me. I'm sorry. You're never, ever in a million years would you be able to convince me that there's not more to this story. I do not believe it's just Thomas Matthew Crooks. Don't get me wrong. I think Thomas Matthew Crooks did it, but I think he was kind of allowed to do it. I really do think there was kind of a stand down order, kind of a, oh, let's just turn the other cheek. Let's turn a blind eye. Let's see if something happens, and then we'll react afterwards. And I'm sorry, but I cannot view the story any other way, especially with these text messages sitting right in front of me, where you're in the building right above Thomas, taking photos of him, letting people know, hey, this dude looks like he's going to do something crazy. And it's like, initially, when this information starts coming out, of course we report on it and we react to it and we talk about it. But it's when the actual evidence comes out, that's when things actually matter. Because up until this point, they could have said, oh, that's a lie. Where's the messages? Where's the photos? Where's the interactions? They could have denied it, but now they can't deny it. Now they can't deny it. But this is just yet another piece, you know, that's just piling up to this huge pile of, I don't know what to call it, failures, coincidences, whatever you want to call it. But it's just all of this stuff, all of this evidence, all of these firsthand accounts, it's all piling up. And as it piles up, it gets harder and harder to believe the official narrative, which is that, oh, Secret Service just dropped the ball. Now we got to get the Secret Service, the leader, to resign, and we'll blame everything on her and act like this never happened. That's what they're doing. They're acting like this never happened. They basically got the head of the Secret Service out of there, and they want that to be enough for you so you can move on with your life, and you feel like someone was held accountable, and you move on to the next story, and you don't question things too much. But also, when you're reading the text messages, and they're like, oh, get this to command, or do you have command's number? It's like, that shouldn't be a question. You shouldn't have to question how to get in touch with the other people working security at this event. All of y'all should be on the same page. And usually they are, but this event, the security at this event, everything that happened before this event, it was totally different. Trump throws rally after rally after rally. It just so happens at the one rally where it just so happens there's a dude waiting in the crowd ready to take out Trump. It just so happens that the security failed that day. It just so happens that the Secret Service snipers didn't show up to the meeting that morning. It just so happens that no one knew how to get in touch with command. It just so happens that basically the Secret Service ignored all of these different protocols. It's just too much. It's just so much. It's exhausting talking about it. It's exhausting talking about it because I look at what happened and I feel like it's blatantly obvious. Yet you still gotta try to, and I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything, but you still have to, you know, provide this information, talk about the steady trickle of news and information that's coming out. And people still aren't convinced that, you know, people are still confused as to what really happened. And it's just exhausting because to me, I feel like we could skip over a lot of this stuff. I didn't even need to see these text messages. I feel like a lot of the stuff that's coming out, we can skip right over it because we already know that something shady happened. And I feel like it's just so clear as day. But instead, we'll sit here for months and weeks, and 5 years from now, we'll still be talking about little details that came out, little pieces of evidence that show that maybe this was shady, that maybe this was something more. And I'm just like, I don't want to have to wait for all of that. I don't want to wait anymore to prove that something really shady happened here when it's blatantly obvious, and it's been blatantly obvious since day one. Since a couple of hours after this happened, I could have told you that something ain't right. And it's not like we're getting any information that would prove me wrong. No, we're just getting information that reinforces that statement, that reinforces that thought and that feeling that a lot of us have, which is that something isn't right here. But I'm sure we'll see more text messages and photos and stuff in the future. For now, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and remember to always remain opinionated.